So as you know, Vayera last week had 7 plagues involved in it, and this week has 3 plagues involved in it. On one foot, I want to tell you something real quickly about plagues in general. As you've heard from me from years before, it's not just my shita, it's from the Rabban, plagues are really in opposite order undoing the Sfirot. So, is everybody here over 39 years old? Yeah, I'm sure we are. We can hear them come up, right? Over 39? Okay. Just a little, I'm sure. At my house, when I had people over for Shabbos, I said, no, we had a lady over, she was like 86 or 85, whatever she is. And I said, 39? She said, 40. Okay. I like to do that. It's kind of fun. Anyway, and people feel good about it. So I've always wondered, like Jack Benny was always 39 until he died, basically, but really he's not. Anyway, so back to this. So the plagues go in the reverse order of the Sfirot, and they undo them. What does that mean? So the lowest plague was Dam, and Dam is supposed to have undone, it's the first plague, but it's supposed to have undone the 10th Sphira. So if you count the spheres down, I don't have a picture for you on this page. In fact, I have one page, but it's later on, spheros. But the last sphera is Malchus. So it's supposed to have undone Malchus, but only in a limited fashion and only against the Mitzrayim. The Dam didn't affect the Jews at all. They have plenty of drinking water to drink. In fact, there's a midrash that they actually sold. They made a good business deal out of this. They sold clean drinking water to some of the Mitzrayim if they could afford to pay for it. And the other ones, of course, they dug around the rivers, the canals, to get drinking water for themselves. But whatever it is, the plagues undo in a limited fashion, backwards, bottom up, the Theros, which were top down, because God built the world from the 1st to the 10th. So what is God trying to show? How he built the world and why he did it in this fashion. There's a Pirkei Avot that says, why are there 10 sayings of creation, which the plagues, by the way, are connected those 10 sayings. Why are there 10 commandments? There's 10 of these things, but there's 10 sayings in creation because God wanted to show the world that you should be careful with the world and the mitzvot, that God took the meticulous thing of using 10 sayings to create. Couldn't God have just go, poof, there's a world? Of course he could have. He didn't have to make any sayings or any of this stuff. But he chose to do that to show, one of the things Perkov says, is to show that we need to be careful in God's world, that he took such meticulous. He didn't have to be, and the plagues is similar. Why are there 10 plagues? To show you that God took his time with Paro. He could show and to teach things, not just to go kaferif ayim, which means in the blink of an eye, just go poof, you're out of Egypt. God could have certainly done that. We would have had no story of Pesach there, at least with the plagues. All right, so that's what happened. At any rate, so we're talking about the 3rd and the 6th plague. So plagues seem to come in 3s, except for the 10th, which is the big daddy of them all, and that's the one that's going to stop Paro in his tracks, and Paro's finally going to let the people go that he wouldn't do before. But the 3rd plague is the plague of lice, and the 6th plague, and we've got those 2 on this sheet, in total. Now they're the smallest plagues, not just smallest because of timing. The 3rd and the 6th plague, and also the 9th, only lasted 3 days. There was no warning to Paro. God just did it through Moshe or by himself. And lice came through, actually, Aaron, because Aaron did it with his staff. And the 6th plague is boils, and Moshe threw dust from a furnace, heavenward, dust actually, him and Aaron collected it, threw it heavenward, and it became boils on top of all of the Egyptians. But they're the smallest plague, smallest in size of Pasukim. So in chapter 8 last week, we have 12 through 16, and one is that, 15, sorry, I can't read. 12 through 15, and that is 4 Pasukim, you can see them there. And then we've got the boils one down below, which is in chapter 9 now, 8 through 12, which is 5 Pasukim. Smallest of the plagues. Everything else, including the locusts, we'll do in a little while for this week. Much bigger plagues, not only because it lasted 7 days, plague of locusts, but because of the fact that there was some kind of warning to Paro for these plagues. All right, at any rate, so they come in sort of this special sequence. 3 and 6, related for sure, not just because it's multiple. All right, so what word is very prevalent in 3 and in 6? The word hartumim. Hartumim, ha-hartumim, And you see it there, I bolded it. It's not a code, it's actually in the Torah at that place. And Ha-Hartumim means what? It means the magicians, or the necromancers, as my Chumash, your art scroll, happens to say. Necromancers, magicians, whatever it was, they used the Bordazora type things. Those are the ones that brought up the snakes. It's actually crocodiles. I was going to talk about that last week, but we're not going to go there now. That's why I said I think it's a croc, and I made a play on the word croc. It was a cute little thing. I was all ready, and then I was sick, so it didn't happen. But at any rate, Ha-Hartumim is here. Now I'd like you to look at the two words, and you can read what I have, and you can cheat. Not cheat, just kidding, not cheat. You can look at the two words, or you can just read below, and you'll see Ha-Hartumim above in Pesach 14 is slightly different, it's the same word, than Ha-Hartumim in Pesach 15. Why would it be different, and how is it different? So first of all, Sarah, why is it different?
Because in order to have the
Yud.
It could come up right.
No. Yeah, you're going to tell me why. I don't want to know why. I want to know really what is the difference between.
What's the difference? The Yud and the one in
right.
Yud.
The Yud and one, the other one doesn't have a Yud.
No.
It's obvious. I mean, it wouldn't be as obvious.
Plural,
It's
singular. Plural and singular.
No, it's not. This is Ha-Hartumim. They're both pronounced exactly the same, and there's a doubt other than them. There's no plural and singular here. They're both plural, the magicians.
One's got Yud, the extra Yud.
That's correct. That's the difference. Now, if there's a difference like that, you got to ask yourself one of two questions. One question would be, must be because there is, as you said, a code or a gematria or maybe both. And the other question is, did they run out of ink? I mean, maybe the sage or the scribe just said, I don't have the ink now, we don't need it, it's modern Hebrew, we'll just put it, not modern, it's thousands of years ago, but still, we'll put in the thing without the yud. It's the same word. I don't think the Torah does that. The rabbis were dumbfounded by why there's lack of yud or lack of vav or these different letters, sometimes even a mem sometimes, and therefore they were really befuddled by this stuff. Sometimes they had a reason and sometimes they did not. No one talks about this one with Hartumim, except me, I think. At any rate, let's find out. The word for magicians used in 14 and 15, but they spell differently. Yud and verse 14. The gematria of the word in 14 now, because of the yud, it happens to be 312. If you added those letters together, standard gematria, you get 312. And the other one happens to be with no yud, 10 less, 302. So what I do is whenever we see words that are spelled differently but should have really been the same, it's the same word basically, I add them together. It usually provides a neat gematria answer, not always. There's some is 614. When I thought about this years ago, I said 614. It was 613, I'd be so happy. That's the misquote, and I could make a drash about that. Or if it was 611 Torah, I could, wonderful, wonderful. 612 I would be even okay with, which is Brit. I had no earthly idea what 614 is. Last week it hit me. You know what 614 is? It's Kerut. That's the whole story of Pesach through these guys, these evil, creepy magicians. We'll have to see maybe why in a few minutes. I don't have it on the page why. But right now we know that Hartumim somehow are teaching about Kerut. And by the way, why is Kerut important? Freedom? Because when we do our bracha, and we do a bracha on every time that it's Pesach, in fact all of the holidays, we do a special bracha during the Shmoneh Esrei, and the repeat, of course, and also the part which is for Musaf, and the repeat. We have it always, there's a special paragraph that says, part of it says, emendation for every holiday, Shlosh Regalim, says for Pesach, says for Shavuot, and says for Sukkot, but they're different because of the holiday. So you would say all the stuff which is the same, and then below the line, it's broken up in my art scroll to 3 parts, and it says, Chag Hamatzot Hazeh. You're doing the bracha. It's Chag Hamatzot Hazeh Zaman Cherutenu. In my book, that's what it says. And that we have the Tenu because it's our freedom, or our holiday of freedom. So it's Chag HaMatzot. It says Chag HaPesach. It says Chag HaMatzot because that's the lashon the rabbis wanted to use. And of course, they used it because of the, well, actually they didn't. They invented it even back, they say, before when there was a carbon Pesach. But at any rate, it's called Chag HaMatzot. So we have Cherutenu. Now the next one. The next one is boils, a related kind of thing. Again, no warning. Again, 3 days it lasted. Shortest form, 5 pasukim. And this time we have in Pesach 11 of that, again the Haratim. Only there it shows up in that whole part. And it's in the beginning the same word we started out with, ha-Haratim. But later in the same line even, it's be-Haratim. Now, it's not ba, it's actually ba, I gotta pronounce it right. Ba means on the, or in the, in this case it's on the. The boils were on, they couldn't stand before Moshe and Aaron because the boils were on the magician. They couldn't stand before him. They couldn't do any magic tricks this time. They also couldn't with lice. It was too small to realize. But at any rate, Bakaratim. So it's not quite as nice maybe as the other one, because it's slightly a different word because of the bait, but still, no yud there. It should have had a yud. It doesn't have a yud. Same kind of thing. I added them together. This time we get 312 for the first, same as before. 299 for the second. Add them together. This time we get 611. 611 I knew before. 611 means what? Torah. 611 higher is the gematria of Torah. So therefore, Torah, so let's look at the next one it says in our holiday thing. Going over Shavuot, it says, Chag HaShavuot Hazeh Zaman Matan Toratenu. We have to have matan there too, to giving us. But still Toratenu, it's Torah. So we have the Karutim teaching us about Cherut and what? Torah. So it's teaching about Pesach and Shavuot. You don't have to read the rest of the Torah. You've got everything through these Haratim, but you should, of course, read the rest, obviously. These things are not in the Haggadah. You do not read this in the Haggadah story, but they're very, very important because they're teaching us a lesson through the magicians. Now, at Shabbat, we had this, what's her name was just in here, Cece. She was at our house, and we were talking about why the magicians. So Cece gave a partial answer to this thing. I mean, I don't know why the magicians specifically, because the magicians are the ones who are going against Torah and against this stuff, and they don't want freedom for the Jews. They're trying to back up and build up Paro. What did the magicians say in that line with the second one with the Haratim and the one with lice? They said, Etzba Elokim Hu. This is the finger of God. I'm saying the word Elokim, right? I don't know if they would say Elohim or Elokim, but it's Elokim for us, right? Because it's talking about God. Paro didn't have a problem with God. He had a problem with Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. He had a problem with God of us, the Hebrews, the Jews, the Israelites. So therefore, these guys were trying to defend Paro and saying, look, it's only a finger and a hand. That's Rashi, by the way. It's only a finger. It's a finger of God. It's still God involved. God of nature? Paro had no problem with God of nature. Maybe he's not happy with me. But that's a God of nature. It's Moshe's God that I have to worry about, the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. And that was the one that Paro didn't want to ever say his name. And if you look it up, I don't think Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is ever used by Paro until Parshat Bo. But I'm not sure about that.